Welcome to my channel. My name is Elise. Today I'm going to walk you through making these two cards. They are just clean and simple cards featuring just one image each. Here is a look at the projects that we are going to create, and then let's just jump right into it. So I've got some images loaded into my mini MISTI. The butterfly image is from the Blooming Bunch stamp set, and the flower image is from the Wallflower stamp set. I am inking these up with some VersaFine Onyx Black onto some Bristol Smooth because I plan on using water-based markers for these. Really funny, for some reason when I stamped these the first time, I lined them up with the top corner of my MISTI, which I never do. I always use the bottom corner. Anyways, I almost stamped it a second time off, but I caught myself. I'm going to do some ink blending on, again, pieces of Bristol Smooth cardstock. I prefer to do my ink blending on Bristol Smooth. I'm using some Distress Oxide inks, so I know that one of these cards is going to have a little bit more of a purple tone and one is going to have a pink tone. So I'm just doing these backgrounds while my ink dries. That is a pigment ink, so it does take a little bit longer to dry. For my pink, I'm using Tattered Rose and Picked Raspberry. These are really fun pink colors. Some of my favorite Distress Oxides for sure. I definitely always lean towards ink blending pinks and purples and blues more than anything else. But yeah, I just love these colors, and you can see I'm using the blending foams to achieve this blending. I prefer to use blending foams when using Distress Oxide inks, but for everything else, I prefer blending brushes. Now I'm going to do the purple. This is Victorian Velvet and Seedless Preserves. I find Seedless Preserves to be more of a warm tone purple, and so is this velvet color. So I find that they work pretty well together. Both of these are pretty far away from each other on the color spectrum. So you could go ahead and use 3 colors, but I was honestly being pretty lazy. And also knowing that these are just going to end up as kind of borders to some white panels. I knew I wanted to add just a little bit of color to these cards. And my favorite way to add color is to do kind of a blended background. So once I've got these blended to where I want them, I'm going to set those aside to dry, go back to my stamped images, and do my coloring. For today's coloring, I am using Tombow dual brush markers. I really love these markers. I get a very good blend with them. So this butterfly is more of my purple tones, and the flower is more of my pink tones. Like I said, I knew I was going to do one card pink and one card purple. Because these images are pretty small, and because I'm only coloring 2 images, it really does not take me long to do this coloring. This is sped up. In real life, this coloring took me 3 minutes, which is nothing. I feel like so much of the time we get discouraged on coloring images because to do like a scene card, for example, you've got to color a lot of images to really make that scene come to life. And so I wanted to show just how you could do a clean and simple card and just use 1 image on each card, but still really make a statement. Just going ahead and coloring in that flower. I could do this more precisely, but honestly, for the most of the time, nobody notices if your coloring is perfectly shaded, to be honest. You know, I give these cards out to family and friends. They're just happy to receive a homemade card. So keep that in mind too when you're coloring. It doesn't always have to be perfect. All right, in a second, we're going to look at the marker colors. If you wanted to know exactly which markers I used, these come in like packs of 10, I think, and they're just really great to have. I have thoroughly enjoyed using them. So now I'm just using a A2 layer die to cut out these ink blended panels. I've also cut out some white panels. And now I'm going to go ahead and do some scoring. So I'm just making little frames basically for those images to sit in. This is sped up as well. The width of that card panel, the white, is 3 inches. So I'm just scoring from a 1/2 inch on the sides and 1/2 inch on the top. And then I'm just making about a 2-inch square for these, just so that it has something to sit in. This is far more obvious in real life than it is in the photos. From the Love You Bunches stamp set, I am taking the Hello, just making sure that that is centered underneath that window. And then I'm going to stamp that Hello in the Picked Raspberry and in the Seedless Preserves Distress Oxide ink, just to add a little bit more color. You could also do that in black. Now you can see how these are going to look on the card. I am going to use some foam tape to pop these up. I always feel like adding dimension just adds a little bit more to your card, especially when you're going with something clean and simple. Dimension really adds an extra impact to your cards. Just peeling off that foam tape and adhering these down. And then we're really just moving on to final card assembly. Just using some foam tape on those white card panels to pop them up onto my ink blended panels. I really love, this is a great way to highlight just those like individual smaller stamps too that come in those larger stamp sets. Using some liquid glue, so I have some time to line these up, and gluing down that ink blended panel onto my A2 size card base, which is made from Neenah 110 pound cardstock. Just going to go ahead and get that centered, and that is the card for today. I hope that you enjoyed watching me make these projects. Really simple and quick video for you today. If you liked it, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to see more from me, and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks so much.